The issue of free speech reared its ugly little head again this week when UC Berkeley canceled a speech by professional provocateur Ann Coulter. The school said it was a matter of public safety, but Coulter and the group who invited her say it's an attempt at censorship. It's a college tradition. Invite the most edgy and extreme thinkers possible. Who can forget 1960s campus favorite, anti-war radical Abbie Hoffman? But in recent years, the mood has darkened. Largely peaceful protests have given way to violence.
Overnight mayhem on campus.
Earlier this year, UC Berkeley's college Republicans invited then Breitbart editor Milo Yiannopoulos to speak on campus. Riots broke out before he even arrived, causing $100,000 in damage. Administrators canceled the appearance.
America has a colossal free speech problem.
At Middlebury College, conservative social scientist Charles Murray was interrupted during his recent speech. Murray was roughed up as he left campus. Now this month, Ann Coulter, known for spewing conservative vitriol, received an invitation to speak at UC Berkeley, as she explained to Fox's Tucker Carlson.
So I agreed to all of their demands and then wake up this morning and they send out a letter saying how much they love the First Amendment and freedom of speech and they're so committed to it, but we're just canceling her anyway.
The university then offered a different date and venue, citing specific security concerns, but Coulter was having none of it.
Well, we'll find out if they arrest me when I show up to give my speech. This is a taxpayer-funded institution.
Funding they likely figured could be better spent elsewhere. All right, I am totally on Ann Coulter's side on this one. She went to the letter of the law, every single thing they asked her to do. Speak during the day, limit it to students only. They had this list of demands that the university contacted her with after she had been approached by this on-campus group to speak. She agreed to it. As she said, she called their bluff. She agreed to everything, and then once she agreed, they said they thought she'd back out. She didn't, and then they changed it and wanted to change the venue and everything. She said she's going to show up. Good for her.
I have to agree with that. I think that in many cases this is, the irony, of course, UC Berkeley, that was where the free speech movement was born in 1965, and for them now to be in a position where they're trying to backtrack on it. She is, I love the way you described her there, professional provocateur. You know that going in. I think the worst thing you could do to her is pack the room and have everyone absolutely sit there in total silence. That would kill her, because she wants that kind of a confrontation.
Well, you kind of wonder what's happening. We were talking about this earlier, Emily. I mean, when they had the freshmen in there for the orientation at the beginning of the year, maybe one of the things they should talk about that we do believe in, free speech, First Amendment. A lot of it, you're going to hear a lot of ideas you don't like in college, and this is a way to form your perspective on the world and stuff. It does seem that we've become a little bit intolerant.
Are you kidding me? And they're creating safe havens or push notifications. This might upset you. It's like, right?
I know. And I remember years ago when Barbara Bush was invited to come speak at Wellesley College, and there was a big uproar at Wellesley College because Barbara Bush was like a housewife and she wasn't the right role model for Wellesley College. I thought that was just awful. And then, of course, she did come, and no one prevented her from speaking, and she came and gave a lovely speech. So ever since then, I thought, why, let's be a little bit more open-minded.
Well, I'm on Ann Coulter's side, too.
Really?
But we have two different things going on here, and one of those two things rarely gets mentioned. One is tolerance for speakers on campus. I think in some cases students have gone overboard by shouting speakers down. People should be allowed to speak. That's what academic freedom's all about. That's what a university's supposed to be all about. But the other part of this, and this happened in Middlebury, it's happened at Berkeley several times, is that there are these anarchist groups from the outside that are starting to come into every one of these and really cause violence. I mean, you mentioned Charles Murray getting roughed up. That was by anarchists outside. It wasn't by students.
Well, those students were pretty disruptive.
Yes, they were, and they shouldn't have acted the way they did. But they did not act violently. That was outside people who came in. I think that university administrators are understandably very wary about creating a situation where these outside groups are going to come in and you're really going to have a violent scene. It's a horrendous problem because people should be allowed to speak. But I don't know exactly what you do about this.
Well, I think going into it, first of all, understanding that there are these issues of free speech and how people are reacting. When you have someone who is like Ann Coulter, then you need to plan accordingly. And you can't can't then come out and say, well, we have concerns about security. That, I'm sure, was something that should have been discussed immediately on day one when they started. Right. Yeah. So then to come out and say, use that, and I think a lot of times you find universities or other organizations, saying, well, we're concerned for the safety of everyone, and they point to some of the things that we've seen happen on other campuses, and they use that as the excuse to sort of push what they don't like away from the platform. And that's what I think is a problem. Be very honest, be transparent. Say, look, we have these concerns or those concerns, we're going to do it, we're going to provide the security, and then you kind of have to live with what happens. If not, I think you have a big backlash.
Well, she says she's showing up next Thursday, April 27th. They invited her back in a different situation for May 2nd. She says the kids are it's exam week, in the middle of the day. I mean, she says, I'm a Pulitzer Prize winning, not Pulitzer, 3-time best-selling author, and,
She and O'Reilly won a Peabody together, didn't they?
Yeah.